So, good morning, welcome. I encountered some technical morning, but I am with you now. So, my apologies for that, for the lateness. Some days, Facebook just doesn't quite work the same. So, thanks for everyone for being here. Monday, we generally do Maitri, and so we will do Maitri today. And last week I spent a lot of time talking about Maitri and the quality of self-care in your Maitri. I have talked about this in the past, and I rely on Buddhist teachings because that is where I was trained to meditate. I don't have any sense. Good morning, Karen. I don't have any sense that Buddhist teachings are superior or something. It's just the way that I was trained. So when I talked about Maitri last week and this quality in Maitri of the self-care and the sense of expanding your heart through loving yourself, I didn't talk about the Hinayana and the Mahayana path. So the Hinayana is often called the narrow path. And that path is exactly what I was talking about last week. It is this sense of your meditation practice being for the benefit of your own enlightenment, for your own awakening. And it is completely acceptable, and that's why I always say this when we do these practices, to devote your Maitri practice just to yourself. It's like totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not selfish. It's the quality of expanding compassion in your own heart. So the Hinayana path is often called the narrow path or the simple path. And the idea behind it, good morning, Lizzie. The idea behind it is this idea of your compassion will only expand to the extent that you are compassionate with yourself. And so the Mahayana path, which is variously called many different things, but the wider path is the path of working towards your own awakening and your own enlightenment for the purpose of helping others. And so you can also, with both Maitri and Tonglen, you can use this. Good morning, Karen. Again, I saw you a minute ago with a little sunshine. Anyway, you can use this practice of Maitri to extend outwards to others, wishing that others may be well and free from suffering, and wishing that they might awaken. And so these two practices, while they can be, and we start in that way, while they can be a practice that is narrow and focused on yourself, good morning, Gracie, they can also be a wider path, broader to include others. And with both Maitri and with Tonglen, you can always expand beyond your known circle or the people that you love, or even your own personal enemies. You can always expand outward to include people that you don't know that just have a similar experience or are having the human experience and struggling. So all choices in your practice. Always when we're doing these practices, just for you to know that you can, if you're not feeling it today, you can always just stick with sending loving kindness to yourself. That's all you need to do. There's nothing more required. So you might notice here that I got us a new orchid. I don't know if you can see how beautiful it is, but anyway, got us a new orchid in preparation for the Christmas decor coming down. Okay, so let's get started. Go ahead and take your nice upright posture. Straight back, soft front. If you're sitting in a chair, your feet are flat on the floor, hip distance apart. If you're sitting on a cushion, legs are crossed comfortably in front of you. And if you are sitting on a cushion, you should be well centered on the cushion. You shouldn't be sitting on the edge or sort of rocked forward. Shoulders are back and down. Tuck in your chin. And then bringing your attention to your breath. So to begin with, you can visualize at your heart center a tight blossom, a closed, tight blossom. And as you watch, almost as if you're watching a slow time lapse, you can watch that blossom open. And as you watch it open, there's a sense of wonder and joy at the beauty of the opening flower. It has this miraculous quality. I often visualize a peony when I do this practice because they just seem to keep opening and opening. There's just more and more petals. So you can notice as you watch this flower opening how it is simultaneously alive and fragile. So as this flower reaches its full bloom, you can begin to feel the warmth and the light and the wakefulness from your own heart center radiating outward. And so you can visualize it radiating out like light from the top of your head, your sides, your back, your front, down below your seat, 360 degrees all around you. So this light, the beauty of the blooming flower that you're radiating, has this quality of being wholesome. And so just imagining offering yourself this quality of wholesomeness or wholeness. So sometimes when you do this, you'll have a little bit of feeling of tenderness, which I find a little uncomfortable. You may not, I do. And so part of this practice in this moment is just allowing that to be there and to express that quality of tenderness towards yourself. So you can stay here and continue to offer the warmth from your heart center to yourself. Or you can bring to mind a person that you love in a genuine, uncomplicated way. This can be a friend or a relative, it can also be a pet. And just bringing this person or this pet to mind and offering them the warmth from your heart center, the good feeling, wishing that they may have happiness and the root of happiness. And then if you like, you can go from this one individual that you love, perhaps to the more complicated relationships or to more people that you love. wishing them happiness and the root of happiness. So when you're ready, you can stay here if you want, or you can bring to mind a neutral person. This is someone that you might see regularly as part of your daily life, but you don't have any particular relationship with. You don't have any feeling good or bad. It's actually the vast majority of people on the planet. And just bringing this neutral person to mind. I often use my postman. This week I can use the person in the parking lot in the medical building where I went to this week. Just bring this person to mind and wish them happiness and the root of happiness. And then if you want, you can expand outward to other neutral people. And now, when you're ready, if you want to continue on, you can bring to mind that difficult relationship, the person that perhaps has betrayed or harmed you in some way. Or it can just be that relationship, the person that you don't quite communicate with, or that the relationship causes you pain in some way. And you bring this person to mind and you just wish them happiness and the root of happiness. If you want to continue to expand further, you can bring to mind other people that are difficult relationships. People, there might be an individual, a group of people that you consider to be enemies, someone who's done you harm, other people who've done you harm. And we just send those difficult relationships, we send those people happiness and the root of happiness. Now returning to the blossom that opened at the beginning of our practice, we just notice and appreciate its beauty. We allow it to dissolve gently. And then we see as it dissolves this emerging light that glows. And we allow that to radiate out from our bodies into the house or the building that we're in. And then outward into the town or city that we're in. And then beyond all borders across the northern hemisphere, circling around the southern hemisphere, and then radiating out into space. As we extend into the outer realms of space, and then across time, wishing that all sentient beings may have happiness and the root of happiness. Shara, I'm not sure if you're still here, but thanks for joining us today if you are. Um, and if you weren't here at the beginning, you can go back to the beginning. I did a little talking before we actually started the meditation at about 10 after. Maybe a little before that, maybe about 8 after. Okay, when we close here, we put our hands in Anjali at our heart center and bow. Before we do that, I'm going to say the dedication of merit just to offer the benefit of our sitting session to everyone who was not here with us today. And for those of you who know it, feel free to join me. By this merit, may all attain omniscience. May it defeat the enemy wrongdoing. From the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. Thank you all for your practice. And I will see you tomorrow for Tonglen. And until then, be well, safe, and happy.